Good evening, folks. Happy Friday. It's Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Late night. Let's talk about the redistricting meeting that took place at 11 this morning, 12 hours ago.
Let's get it popping.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, Friday, TGIF. If you're up with me, join me live. If not, check it out tomorrow. But let's discuss redistricting. The maps are final. That's it. There's nothing else you can do about it. It's over, folks. Good evening. Good evening, folks. Happy Friday. It's late night, and I was going to come on earlier, but I figured it's Friday. Maybe some people will be up. If not, we're going to take a look at it tomorrow. But tonight I wanted to talk about the redistricting meeting that occurred earlier this morning at 11 in the morning. Right? Like, I mean, who's going to be coming there at 11 in the morning on a Friday? And was that done purposely? What do you think? You think that was done in order to keep people from coming out and attending on a Friday at 11 a.m.? Anyone? Possibly, right? That was one of the biggest complaints that people had, those who showed up to the town hall meetings that were held, that they were not notified. They didn't do everything in their power, I guess, or make every effort to notify residents, of the different districts. And a lot of residents were upset. A lot of people, especially those who attended the town hall over at the Will Library in Central Avenue, they were upset, especially Joe Bear, who I just happened to start, I know the guy now. I don't know him, but I know him. I know of him, right? I'm like this guy who yells, Moranti for mayor, and, Spano's got to go. And he was there, and along with a lot of other people, they were upset, and they were hoping that they would, see something much better than what was presented, right? And when changes were made, there were some slight changes, and the major change really that was made in the revised version of the district maps was the area Gramerton Hills, as known as Gramerton Hills. They were split up into District 4 and 5. They were in District 6 previously, and then they were split up, that community, and put into new districts 4 and 5. And so they were very upset about that community, and they threatened to sue. They said it's going to be lawsuits. We, have been used to coming together as a community, going together to one councilman, that was Moranti, who we've come to know and build a relationship with. And now we're split up, and we have completely new council members. And they've been downgraded, if you ask a lot of people, right? And so they were upset, and they threatened to sue. They were prepared. And I don't know if they're going to sue still, because they're together, but now they are in District 5. So Mike Breen is their councilman. But as I said, in the previous podcast when I spoke about it, at least they could vote Mike Breen out this coming election. That's the good news. He's up for re-election. So now you have an opportunity to vote someone in that maybe you will feel more comfortable having as your representation for you folks over there in District 5 now, the new folks in District 5, right? They basically replaced you guys with the people from the Crestwood Lake Apartments. Pretty much what they did. They included Crestwood Lakes into District 6, and they took you guys out into District 5, right? It seems like that's pretty much what they did. So, they had a meeting today at 11 o'clock. I just don't think that was fair to people, because a lot of people have to work. They're not going to be able to attend. People are not going to, especially in this economy, miss work, lose money possibly, just to attend a meeting that down, deep down inside they know it's going to be pointless. It's going to be pointless. Whatever they say is going to fall on deaf ears. So why go? And isn't Lakeisha supposed to be at work herself, the city council president? Does she get time off for that? I'm just curious how that works. Who else is supposed to be at work? But I did notice that Vinny Spano was there today. Folks, I want to keep stressing the power of basement politics and the power of the people. Ultimately, the people are what give basement politics its influence. So power to the people. And so I always say this is a team effort, and we have an impact. We do. One of them is Vinny Spano was at the meeting today. He's been missing the past few meetings. And, sources have told me that he's not really there at City Hall where he's supposed to be. He was there today. Immediately, I heard his voice and I recognized it. I said, oh, my man Vinster is there. And also, Tommy T had his son remove his car. Well, I don't know if it was Tommy T. Somebody told Tommy T. Jr., your car's got to get up out of there. So it was removed. After 6 months of free storage, he owes the people of Yonkers about $900. Thank you. Cash or certified check, please. You have 7 days. Make payable to the people of the city of Yonkers. But that means that we are having an impact. And I want people to really start to understand what that really means. If we voice our concerns and we are consistent in voicing our concerns, that we can have an impact. It just takes an effort and a consistent effort. It's just what I learned in life with anything we do, right? And so I want us to continue to put it out there. So anything you guys see that's, not okay, it's wrong, we need to say something about it, reach out to me. politicwithfred@gmail.com. You can also call me at 914-228-2894. Leave a message, send a text. Not going to pick up every call, right? Get those crazy calls, but we have an impact. And so I made a list of some of the things that we have, some of the impact we've had, some of the, basically we the bosses, right? We say, hey, this needs to be done. Let's get it done. And it's gotten done, right? From fixing fire hydrants. We got it done in No Dine Hill. There was one literally on its side, right? And we got to keep reminding people. There might be new people also to the podcast, as I've been getting more people saying that they just started watching. They love it. Thank you. Shout out to all the new people who are watching Basement Politics. So we had a fire hydrant on its side, literally flat on its side. Maybe a car hit it. I don't know. But it was flat on its side for at least a week, according to a woman who lived in front of the fire hydrant. Right? She told me that it had been like that for a week and that nothing was going to be done about it. Right before she asked me if I would bring down a refrigerator for her and she would pay me $20. So I looked at myself and I said, woman, really? She goes, oh, I'll give you $20. First, she offered the money. I said, it's not about the money. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it without dying, right? So, I said, watch, I'll get it fixed. Sure enough, that day, people reached out from the city. Where is it at exactly? I told them it was fixed. That's a real safety issue. And then residents who watched the podcast reported that a fire hydrant was not working the day of the fire on Mulberry Street. There were some pressure issues. I spoke about it. Sure enough, it was true. And so they've gone around now to test fire hydrants, which is great because it's important that they are in good working condition. And so I've seen them over at Prospect and Riverdale, DPW crews. Shout out to you guys. They were changing out a pipe there. And there was also another issue on Palmer Road of a fire hydrant there. And I showed that where they were fixing it. So, we appreciate that. And it's just a community effort, right? And it just takes, someone to take the lead and just get everyone involved. And let's do this, folks. We're here to make change. And, if we don't get involved, then if we can't complain when the people who are in power do whatever they want. Then that's what they will do if we don't get involved, if we don't become vocal, visible, and consistent. Consistency is key, right? And also streets cleaned up. Nasty, I don't know, liquid stuff along Elm Street, along the curb that was there. Nasty, disgusting, just trash. And I'm like, what is this? Next day, spotless. Then went there the next morning. Same over in Getty Square where there was human feces on the sidewalk. Got that area cleaned up right away. Potholes on Central Avenue. When I got a flat tire, we got them to patch up potholes on Central Avenue before 3 o'clock that afternoon. So I say all that to stress the power of basement politics and the folks that view and support and share and speak about basement politics and the people that give me information. We are building a force to be reckoned with. Whether you remain anonymous or not, it's fine, as long as you are supporting, contributing in some form of fashion and helping us create change. And at the very least, helping us get things done. Simple things like make sure fire hydrants are not broken, right? And they're in good working order. Or patching up the potholes that are tearing up the constituents' cars, the voters, the taxpayers, the people of the community that you represent, right? And we have to stay on top of them, because if not, they will never get it done. Their focus is elsewhere, like assuring that the redistricting maps are done according to the administration's plan, the way they want it to be redistricted. I mean, they say it's not politics and they love to stress that point, but the fact is, it's about politics. I mean, it's obvious. The only real impact in the redistricting was to District 6, Anthony Moranti, right? They basically, try to weaken him. They gave him Crestwood Lake Apartments and they removed, the Gramerton Hills area. That was pretty much it. They try to make it so that Mike Breen doesn't have any competition by removing Ron Matten out of District 5. That's what it was all about. It's political. It's political, 1000%. And so as I watched the meeting, that's why I was on a little late also, I realized that, Corazon, who announced that she's running for mayor, she's a part of the plan, okay? Let me tell you. Déjame decírtelo. Okay, for the folks who speak in Spanish. She is a part of the plan. Yo sé. And also, Shanae, obvious. She can't go against the grain. She needs their support for the county. She's going against Chris Johnson. Let's hear what they have to say. I mean, it's unbelievable. Is it?
On the proposed maps, and after discussion, we will conduct a vote on the map as proposed. I believe everyone has the legislation on their desk and have had the opportunity to review the proposed map.
By the way, I feel like the city council president has been trying to be more professional, right? More like reserved and calm, and collected in the way she conducts herself and carries herself now after the whole explosion that happened at the term extension meeting, remember, where they ignited a firestorm that left Hector Santiago in jail for the night, which, by the way, I saw Hector today. And, shout out to you. I just happened to run into him in a store. And so Hector and I have since spoken and made peace. I don't want problems. He doesn't want problems. And it's not problems that we want to create here in the community. We want to unite and better our community for all. And so, now she's real professional. And in fact, she's been even emailing me, announcements and stuff and press releases. Really? Right? With the waving hand thing. I mean, I don't know what's that about. It's a little scary, when somebody does something that they normally haven't been doing. And even though it's nice, or maybe it's, not a, bad thing, or, it's scary then. It's kind of then becomes like, I don't know what's that about. Right. And, I haven't gotten any real, comments from any people, negative or no fake accounts or text messages. So I'm like, what's going on? I'm just saying. But she's been really, chill lately, I've noticed.
As it has been unchanged since February 2nd. Okay, so I will open the floor for discussion, and we will start with Councilman Moranti.
Thank you, Madam Council President. Like you said, here we are today after a couple of weeks of negotiating and moving things on. Well, I don't know about negotiating, but needless to say, everyone knows that I am not the happiest camper in this room today. I have expressed my feelings about the process, and I know you guys know I'm not happy with the way the process worked in my particular situation. I'm not going to dwell into it on here today. If anybody wants, they can call me up and I'll tell them everything that needs to be done. What's in front of me is the 6th district as it has been changed, or I'll call it gerrymandered at this point, because what you got over here in front of me, if you take a look, you have the pink colors are the districts that were areas that were moved out of my district, and the beige is what was added to my district. The blue is what was kept. Basically, round numbers, we needed to transfer roughly. I mean, you look at one of the schedules I have, and I have them here if you folks want them to digest, but not. I think it matters at this point. That all that was really needed to satisfy the redistricting rules, which basically says we're talking about population shifting so that we're balanced. There's 1,900 population need to be moved from my district. 2,000 could have been moved from Council District 1 to Council District 2. Game over. Well, obviously, that didn't happen. It was accomplished, in my case, by moving 7,500 and giving me back, taking out 75 and giving me back 6,000. That is not redistricting as far as I can read it and understand it. I do want to thank Dr. Beveridge for answering all my questions, and including the one that I sent out last night. There is one other one that I'm not sure if he answered, but needless to say, it just leaves me with a couple of questions at the end of the day, because obviously I will not be supporting this legislation. The questions that I have is, and in response to Dr. Beveridge's, well, there's 3 things, obviously. There are 3. Dr. Beveridge mentioned that there were some changes that were made by the county to take care of certain, I don't know, whatever you had to do with the county to get it done. The bottom line is, if it changed a few things, does that require this new map? Because that must mean
Moranti, I don't know what it is with Moranti. Like, I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm trying here, but I can't stay with him sometimes, and so I'm trying to figure out, is it me and I need to do something, or is it Moranti? I cannot follow him sometimes, right? And so from what I'm trying to, I tried to gather was, he said something about where, all that needed to be done was 1,900 moved from his district, and then 2,000 from District 1 to District 2, and then mission accomplished. He said, I guess I don't know if he was saying it was that simple. Had that just been done, why did they have to, move 7,500 from his district and then put back 6,000? Right. That's kind of what I got. I don't know, Moran. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be insulting to Moranti, but in following, politics here in Yonkers and watching the city council meetings, oftentimes I try to listen to Moranti, and it's just, Moranti, what is it that you're trying to get out? Right? What is it that you're saying? And you have to be able to communicate your point clearly and effectively, right? And you have an audience that's, a wide range of different people, different, backgrounds and stuff. So you have to be able to, get your message across to different people, various people, and effectively, and explain things to them. And I don't know what you're saying there, buddy. So I don't know. And you're the one guy that is not a happy camper, right? You're not a happy about the new maps. You're the one that's unhappy. The only one that's actually expressed any real issues or issues at all with the new district maps. But you did not communicate anything really, to the people. Why? And you said that if you want, if people want, you to explain it to them. What are your issues specifically on the new district maps that they can call your office? And that's cool, I guess, right? But why not just speak about it there? Give the main points. You don't have to go into it in super detail, but just say, hey, these are the top 3 issues I have with the new district maps, why I have an issue with them, how they impact the city negatively. This is, and give your importance, and that's it, and say among others, in which I can go into further detail if you like, call my office. But you have to give us something, especially if you're looking to become the mayor. You're running for mayor. You're the only Republican candidate, and you're the only one I kind of think that is not on the span of minute. Oh, Margaret Coleman, also, excuse me, Reverend Margaret Coleman, right? And who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe Reverend Margaret Coleman could be with this panel. I don't know. I'm not saying that she is. I'm just, saying that, like maybe, I don't know. Just making the point that you never know here in Yonkers, right? Everything is so crazy. But, so you have to be more effective in your communication than that, Moranti. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to give you some, constructive criticism. That's it. I'm not trying to be, and I like you, Moranti. I have no issues with you. I appreciate you giving me the time the other day on Central Avenue and speaking to me, but I just sometimes I don't know. And I know you don't like it. I know you're not a happy camper. And that's pretty much what I got from you, right? One thing he also said was that he got into the game late. What does that mean, Moranti? You got into the game late as if, your coach was, sidelining you into, the last, few seconds of the game where you had to throw some Hail Marys in order to try and make something happen? Because that's what he says. I don't get that. I don't, and Tasha.
That there's another map.
Tasha Diaz was someone who said that, another council member who had said the same thing when it came to another important issue, the affordable housing ordinance that they failed to pass. She gave the reason of not having a seat at the table as to why she decided to flip-flop and change her vote and not see to it that they passed the affordable housing, because they didn't give her a seat at the table. She didn't have an opportunity to give her input. Like, I don't know how much that would have made a difference, really, honestly, right? And so Moranti is now saying the same exact thing. So again, maybe it's my own naive way of thinking, but how does that happen? How do you not, be involved? How do you get into the game at the last minute or at the last second? How do you not have a seat at the table? You're the only council person for that district, right? So you have to have a seat at the table. I mean, doesn't the table come with 6 or 7 chairs? I mean, who took your seat, Moranti? And Tasha, who took your seats, right? I don't get that. That's just what I understand. So please explain that to me, because as a council person, I would be kicking down doors. Hey, where's the meeting? What's going on? Now, I need to know. I have a district to represent, and if it's going to impact my district so significantly, then best believe I want to know what's going down, how this is being decided, how it's being done, so I can then communicate that process effectively to my constituents who are pissed off because I no longer represent them. And now they're talking about suing, which is going to cost them money. And all I can say is I got into the game late. I don't know about that, Moranti. I don't say that anymore. If I was your campaign, but don't say that, Moranti. Okay, don't say that. Just say that they lied to you about the meetings or something. Got into the game late. It don't make sense. You're supposed to fight to be there to represent them.
When I was discussing this with someone, they had said that no deviation, even.
He's not a good public speaker. The intent of redistricting was to water down a Republican ward. That's it, 1,000%. And that was basically Moranti's.
No, 5% comes to play, that you can't go over the 5%. Someone said to me, and again, I saw something with some other town, that they can't, no deviation can change by more than 2.5%, either direction, up or down. So those were the questions that I have left. It's obviously not going to change what's going to happen today, unless, whatever, if you're going to allow Dr. Beveridge to respond to that, if you choose, Council President. Again, as I said, I really got into the game. I got into this game late. Made as many Hail Marys as I could. taking a look at the population difference at the beginning, what was the only last baffling point, and you guys know, I'm a numbers guy, not a bookie, okay? But basically, what was the most amazing thing that I found through this whole, getting to analyze all this, and I wish I would have had the opportunity to do this earlier on, was that in the original population, the current population, as before we changed it today, the 6th district had roughly 5,000 more population than the 5th district. But yet, in the voting age population, the difference is 30. How such a small difference can be occurred? I mean, how coincidental could that be? You have such a small thing and such a large one. But needless to say, it is what it is. I spoke in my piece. I thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to being the council person for all the new people, the new districts that have been added to the 6th district, because you'll be taken care of in a substantial way as ones that I've lost. And I wish my former constituents, although you'll hopefully be all my constituents on January 1 of 24. And needless to say, I thank you for everybody for the process. And politics is a voter thing, so elections have consequences. I've been served mine. Doing other actions like running for mayor may have caused some other problems for me, but never a problem. You clean yourself up, you get up, and you fight to live another day. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Oh, Moranti, that was good, man. That was... I guess he's blaming the fact that he wanted to run for mayor as the reason why that happened to his district, right? I guess that caused me problems, wanting to run for mayor. So they decided to mess with my district as to water it down, Republican, and so that's what they're trying to do essentially there. I don't know. They're definitely trying to, get you out, get someone else that's more of a puppet, full-blown puppet. I mean, they've pretty much got him almost in every district. I mean, I'm not Moranti, but Mike Breen completely sold out the Republican Party, man. So blatantly. He has sold out the Republican Party, showing that he is a true Spano supporter, loyalist, and that will not change. It has not been any different in 20 plus years. And it's not going to be different moving forward. The Republican Party is pretty much finished here in the city of Yonkers. It is. So basically, the general elections have now been moved to June, primaries. And guess what? Only the Democrats can vote. The Democrats are the only ones choosing our elected officials. No, joking aside, the primaries are in June for the Democrats, but really, what real power and influence does the Republican Party have nowadays? Really, I mean, is there really a real Republican? Justin Tubiolo is another, Spano loyalist. He has to be. His son, David Tubiolo, is a Democrat, relies on a good relationship with the Spano administration in order for David not to have any issues, right? He wants to get the party's endorsement. You have to play nice with the Spanos so they can tell Tommy Meyer, that's the guy we're going to endorse, Tommy. Got it? Got it. That's how it is. And who else is another Spano loyalist and longtime friend and political operative for the Democratic Party? Dr. Andrew Beveridge, the guy who was so happened to be the last man standing in the hunt for a consultant to do the redistricting maps. What a coincidence. Perfect. This guy's been involved in the redistricting or the new district maps for the past 40 years. It just so happens he's always involved. That's right. He's been involved in the 1991, in the 2000s, in the 2020s, and now. So he's pretty much monopolized this. They use him in order to shift around the districts here in the city of Yonkers the way they want to. And it's not the first time that we've had issues here with the redistricting process here in the city of Yonkers. I remember hearing about it the last time it happened and how a certain individual, a Hispanic individual, Wilson Torrero, is it Wilson then? Man, I don't know if I got that wrong. I know it was a Hispanic that was kind of selling out the people and helping the powers that be redistrict the city in their favor. So this is not a new game. This is nothing new. Let's find out about Dr. Beveridge before we hear him speak. Who is Dr. Beveridge?
Mr. Beveridge, can you please?
Before we listen to Dr. Beveridge speak, let me go over who Dr. Beveridge is. Dr. Beveridge, Andrew Beveridge, under penalty of perjury, makes the following affirmation. I, Andrew Beveridge, am a professor of sociology at Queens College and the Graduate Center, City University of New York. My primary responsibilities at the college and Graduate Center are teaching statistics and research methods. See if I can make this bigger for you guys. Trained at Yale, I have been employed in such capacity since 1970. My primary responsibilities at the college and graduate center are teaching statistics and research methods at the graduate and undergraduate level and conducting quantitative, statistically based social research. Trained at Yale University, I have been employed in such a capacity since 1973, first at Columbia University until 1981, and since then at Queens College and the Graduate Center of CUNY. I am currently serving a 3-year term as chair of the sociology department at Queens. My areas of expertise include demography, the statistical and quantitative analysis of social science and data sets, most particularly including census data, survey data, and administrative records. I am an expert in the application of GIS technology, which I'm not sure what that is, to the analysis of social patterns. I have analyzed the impact of neighborhood characteristics on educational outcomes and substance use. I have published results from my research. I have listed my scholarly publications on my resume, which is attached as Exhibit A. Some of these results have been widely disseminated by serving as the basis of articles in the New York Times, where I serve the demographic consultant through an agreement between the CUNY Research Foundation and the Times. In addition, I published a regular column on demographic topics in the Gotham Gazette, an online publication of Citizens Union. I served as a consultant to a number of public and private entities where I provide services related to demographic analysis in the area of housing, among other things. For instance, I was under contract to New York State Department of Housing and Community Renewal in 2005 for an analysis of the fair market rent levels in Long Island. So that's Dr. Andrew Beveridge, the man that I'm about to let you hear speak right now. So he's been asked to answer the question that Anthony Moranti asked just before I started reading that. Freddie, you have to get a petition out there taken away from the city council and mayor, term limits, district changes, board of ed, outsourcing, the DPW, etc. You go straight Dumbo rats, you might as well stick a fork into your city for toast. These corrupt Dumbo rats are running your city dry. And I hate to really say it as a Democrat, I hate to, agree with that. But in a way, I agree with that because of my experiences in, living in two different places, right? Where you have a Democrat run city and then you have a Republican run city. And I got to say, every Republican run place that I've lived in has been a lot better. It has. Why is that? I don't know. I'm just giving you my experience, my observation. It's just better. The public schools are better. The crime, the quality of life, right? The kids are, more behaved, regardless of color. It doesn't matter what color you are, right? It doesn't. Why is that? Why are things seemingly better in some of these, communities that are Republican run as opposed to Democratic run? It's true. It's just true based on my observation. I don't know.
Thank you, Lakeisha. And
so the first thing I noticed when I heard him come on is he says, "Thank you, Lakeisha." He doesn't say, "Thank you, City Madam Council President." He says, "Thank you, Lakeisha." Like, we're cool like that.
Council members, just to quickly recap how we came to this, there was an initial plan that was created basically by a coalition of a committee of the whole. A small committee that included the Democratic members of the city council. They came up with a plan. We had two town halls, and we took into account all of the comments and criticisms that came in from those two town halls. And basically, we tried actually to accommodate all of them. And that turned out to put the deviation well out of range. It was nearly 20%. And actually, just so you know, when we started this process, the current lines were out of balance by about 16%. So we had to bring the balance down to, that's a total deviation, the deviation between the smallest district and the largest district. And Councilman Marante is right. The new law, the municipal rule law, home rule law, makes the total deviation have to be 5%, and that's between the largest district and the smallest district. And so that was one of the major things we worked on. And in the situation, District 5 had lost population. District 3, interestingly, 2 or 3, I can't remember, had lost population. So we had to work on balancing the population across the city. And what happened then was there were some complaints about increasing the geographic scale of some of the districts. So we listened to the comments from the community. We tried a maximal, let's see if we can take them all into account process. That turned out not to be possible. So then John Rubo, working through the various council members, came up with a plan that accommodated many of those questions, and that really is the basic.
I want to stop it there. He said John Rubo, and I heard this before, and I mentioned it, and someone, had actually two people had told me that John Rubo and not Tom Meyer, because I had heard initially that Tom Meyer was the one that was spearheading the changes that were being made, right? Speaking to Dr. Beveridge in terms of what it was that they were looking for and wanted to happen. And then I heard two other people say that they were hearing John Rubo was leading the charge in creating the district maps, right? But basically they're getting getting told what to do from the top. And that's just a way to insulate yourself, right? All smart, bosses, top guys at the top are never gonna, be directly involved, right? So they're gonna have someone that they communicate to, that communicates it to the other person that actually gets it done, that signs off on it, like the building commissioners, they sign off on it. So even though they go to the building department and they talk about their budget, they're not presenting that from their own, right? That's what's been told to them, right? And they sign off on it. So anything happens, it's you. And so they get insulated and say John Rubo is the bag man, right? They call it. He's the guy that was going to Dr. Beveridge and saying, okay, this is what we need to do. We got to make sure we get Marante up out of there. We dilute his ward, the Republican ward, right? And make sure that Mike Breen doesn't have any problems and that no one's going to challenge him. So make sure Ron Matten is out. He already, did what we needed him to do. And by the way, I do want to say this. I jokingly say that about Ron Matten, but I'm a nice guy, and some people may not think that. And so I feel bad, for Ron Matten. Because I genuinely like Ron Matten. I do. I like the guy. I talk to him I don't say often, but I know a lot. I talk to him wherever different things. So, and I like him, and and he does look back on it and say, that was kind of a stupid thing to do in terms of writing that letter to the city council, not to get sidetracked, but so he is remorseful, and I just want to put that out there because I think people should know that, and like I said, I like Ron Matten, so I joke with that with the letter, although he did write that letter, right? So, but anyway, so Dr. Beveridge here, put a spin on it. Like, I don't know if you were able to understand some of what he's saying. As I keep playing it, you'll hear that too. He's just like talking in circles, not really getting to a point, just saying a bunch of different things that don't answer the question that Anthony Moranti had, really doesn't really inform us of anything really. And it just looks like he's, evading, and trying to be deceptive and, stay away from the real reason, right? That John Rubo, worked with him to get it done. He was getting, told what to do from the top, from above him. And I'm, going to say that probably was just Spano administration. The developers, right? The developers have an interest. You also, not just politicians, but in how, things are redistricted as well. Andrew Beveridge has a connection to developers, has a connection to Nick Spano, who they say is the real mayor of the city of Yonkers. Andrew Beveridge, Dr. Beveridge, is a very good friend of a man named James Sertivo, who is a registered sex offender, a sex predator, a child sex predator who would, hunt on the internet, on chat rooms, on AOL chat rooms. He would hunt and stalk for underage boys, where he would then meet up with them and sodomize them. And he was, arrested and convicted of sodomizing a 14-year-old boy he met on the AOL chat rooms. And what's, disheartening to know is that Dr. Beveridge actually victim shamed the 14-year-old boy, saying that he pretty much asked for it and that he was aggressive in his actions, and wanting to be sodomized. It wasn't James Sertivo, the adult, who should have been responsible. And so he even stated that the 14-year-old was a very promiscuous boy. He said, look, he had sex with over 9 men, 9 predators. And so I don't like that. I didn't think that was nice. And I thought anyone that, thinks that way and has that mindset and can rationalize something like that, it's probably not someone I want doing anything that impacts me at all in any way. I'm just saying, right? And not somebody I like to trust. Oh, look, he thinks Jim Sertivo is a good guy. There you go. Yeah, that's enough reason not to trust him. There you go. There you go. Right. And again, if you don't know who James Sertivo is, look him up. He's a registered sex offender, and he is currently serving as a consultant for Ginsburg, the development company that is doing developments over in the Ludlow Park area, right? So again, he thinks he's a good guy. He blamed the 14-year-old boy who was sodomized for what happened to him, victim shaming that boy. And these guys are tied to some kind of pedophilia thing, I don't know. I'm, working on getting more evidence, but some fishy stuff going on. And I don't want to get sidetracked, but yeah. But he put a lot of spin on it. I'm going to play some more. But again, he said a small group of the Democratic committee, right, and got together to kind of decide this, talk about how things were going to go. He said that, the committee, took into consideration the criticism from the people. How dare they criticize, right? How dare they get upset and criticize that their neighborhood was split right down the middle and they have 2 completely new district representatives, 2 of the worst, John Rubo and Mike Breen, 2 of the worst, right? How dare they criticize? So, you can see in the way that he speaks, the word that he chooses to use, he called it criticism instead of concerns. These are the constituents and the people's concerns. They're not criticizing. They just don't want to have their neighborhood split up. They had a good system there of how they work together with their councilman, Anthony Moranti. And because you guys want to play politics, Mr. Dr. Beveridge, who's really a political operative, although he loves to say this isn't politics, right, came in and split them up. Come on. They don't want that. I get it, right? So anyway, I'm gonna let him play. Let him talk a little bit more. I'm gonna show you another article in the Times on on Andy Beveridge.
Plan that we're dealing with today. Now, we've made some tweaks on that plan, but they really are tweaks. What he was discussing, the board of election wanted to move a few blocks so they could have, they wouldn't end up with election districts of 100. And so we accommodated that, but that had really minimal effect on the population. And then there was one or two changes, I think mostly on the west side, and they had virtually no, well, they actually had no effect on the total deviation. So that's how we got to the plan we are today. And one of the things I want to comment on is you could draw, in Yonkers, and in fact, there's someone improved this analytically, but you could draw infinite numbers of districts with six districts in Yonkers. The question is, which ones do you want to draw? And my own view is, first, this plan is below 5% deviation. It's at 4.86%, just under. We were at 4.71 before we made the changes for the Board of Election. And then the second thing I would say is that given the sort of racial and ethnic geography in Yonkers, three of the districts are majority minority, the three West Side districts. And so Yonkers is probably, so when you look at these plans, and I've worked on both sides, I've worked defending plans in court, well, actually attacking plans in court, and drawing plans that I hope don't go to court. So far, I have a perfect record of not being involved in any redistricting plan that's where a suit followed. I mean, and the number of redistricting suits that occur are just unbelievable in the United States. And I think there'll be even more in New York because of these new laws. But the basic point is that we need to accommodate the minority groups in Yonkers. That's done. We need to accommodate the deviation requirement. That's taken care of. And we need to draw those districts reasonably compact. And because of some work that we did, particularly on the west side, to clean up District 3, I think that we've also meet that criteria. And I don't think there's anything in the plan that would smack of, political chicanery, let's call it. And so I think I think that this plan is a good plan. And I think if Yonkers passes this plan, it's probably clear, it's most likely clear sailing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He's just talking in circles. If Yonkers passes the plan, he's this guy just being paid to do what he's told. He's a political operative, point blank, period. You folks that are upset about these new district maps, who were considering suing, should sue, get subpoena power, open up the books, get into these people, right? It's about time we end this nepotism and this corruption. And what we are seeing here is nepotism. That's why he is the guy that was hired to do the new district maps, right? All the other guys dropped out. Come on, stop it. The guy sounds like a puppet. Exactly, he's a puppet. He's talking in circles. The guy's no bueno, as we would say. No bueno. Let's take a look at Mr. James Sertival. Upon count them, children with chores, Yonkers, Bronxville, and the all-purpose zip code. New York Times. Upon awakening on 2 Sundays ago, I was stunned to read that I had moved away from my house. You see that there? And city of residence for over 20 years, to wit, Andrew A. Beveridge, a long-time Democratic leader in Yonkers who now lives in Bronxville. A long-time Democratic leader. Of course he's going to favor the Democrats. Of course he's going to do what the Democratic Party wants, the Spano administration. A return to Yonkers and a fall cushion, January 27th. I am sure that there are some Yonkers residents who might be relieved to see me go. Yeah. Then I realized my address, along with thousands of other Yonkers residents, including my neighbor, the city council president, live in Bronxville post office. Though we live in the city of Yonkers, our mail comes through Bronxville, and the real estate agents and many of my neighbors like to pretend that we are not Yonkers residents. Sarah Lawrence College businesses along Central Park Avenue and one of the court-ordered low-income housing projects all share the Bronxville PO with the village of Bronxville, part of Mount Vernon and part of New Rochelle. Indeed, there are also Yonkersites who have their addresses in Tuckahoe and Scarsdale, Mount Vernon. So many think this helps their property values. That several years ago, when Mayor Spencer suggested that the addresses be changed, there was a real outcry. When you ask people where they live in Westchester, ask them whether it's a city, town, village, or zip code. So, some people have a Scarsdale address. So I guess they were saying that, Mr. Beveridge actually lived in Bronxville, but he's saying, no, it's just a Bronxville address. But he doesn't. The story has unfolded in recent weeks regarding J.B. Hashmols, more political intrigue. I don't want to get into reading this too much. I'm going to skip a little bit down here. Some of Mr. Spencer's detractors immediately called the hiring blatant political patronage. Andrew A. Beveridge, a longtime Democratic district leader in Yonkers who now lives in Bronxville, said, I was amazed that Spencer hired him right after the controversy with the county job. It shows Jay still has a lot of influence in Yonkers to get bailed out like that. The point I'm reading this is to show you his involvement in Yonkers politics. He's a political operative. He's very involved, and it goes way back. Way back. And you can read these articles and look them up on the Time. Right? There are a lot of anger in Yonkers that Andy hung Jay out to dry. Like that, this person said. The perception here is that Jay was made a sacrificial lamb and had to fall on his sword for Andy, who knew all about Arid's contracts. What's going on here? Yonkers is where you go to be politically rehabilitated, said Paul Pickle. Is he related? No, that's Gene Tickle, who in 1998 replaced Mr. Hashmol as Yonkers City Attorney. Mr. Pickle attributed Mr. Hashmol's hiring to his long relationship with both Mr. Spencer and Mr. Arid for years, who for years was chairman of the Yonkers Democratic Committee, ran the powerful Democratic machine in Yonkers. You see what I'm saying? It's all nepotism. All nepotism that goes way back. Way back. James Sertivo, really quick to read about his friend, has long been the man to see in Yonkers, part political advisor, part administrator, and 100% deal maker. Mr. Sertivo has always known how to get the job done, right? So I just want to read to you what Mr. Andy Beveridge had said in regard to Mr. Sertivo getting arrested or pleading guilty to sodomy, right? And he thought he said he's a good guy. Really? I don't know. Mr. Spencer Sertivo attempt so many people, Republican. This is a long article here. After the sentencing and hearing the judge's reaction, I realized it's a no-win situation. Mr. Sertivo said, I'm not going to explain myself anymore. I obviously hope that people are not going to judge me for this one thing and assume that the worst thing that has happened to me is the most important thing about me. Still, when he talked about the case, Mr. Sertivo seemed uneasy. He said his hands as if he were weighing both sides of an argument, and as if he was wondering if he should just tell the story the way he sees it, that he had one encounter with a sexually active and willing gay teenager who sought out older men online. No, he sought out underage boys online. That's what he did. Or tell the apologetic version he has come to realize is more expedient. So that's what he did. And he blames the boy, just like Andy Beveridge. Where's this guy's D. Rosario? So basically, he was caught up because of a boy, a 12-year-old, that was found dead alongside the sawmill. And it led to James Sertivo, who was good friends with Mr. Andy Beveridge. And so when I was looking up Andy Beveridge, this is what I started to see. And I started to read about him. And I said, wow, this is the type of character this guy is. He victim shames these young boys who are stalked and, preyed upon by adult male pedophiles. Then what kind of a, person is he? Right? What kind of a person is this guy? James Jacobs, a sociologist and law professor at New York University, said he was not surprised that professionally, Mr. Sertovo has been able to overcome the stigma associated with this crime. And that is why he's still involved till this day as a consultant, sitting in the city council chambers that night that all hell broke loose at the term extension meeting. That's right, he was there. So he's still active. And I'll tell you how he only got, probation instead of jail time. Mr. Sertovo, look at Marv Albert. He's back on television, Dr. Jacobs said. Look at President Clinton, right? That's right. Some people just, right, if they're connected, if they're part of nepotism and corruption, then they will bounce back. No doubt about it. I think we are criminalizing something that is a mental problem, Mr. Beveridge said, and we're talking about Andy Beveridge now. On the other hand, the acceptance may stem from something unique to Mr. Sertovo in discussing his success in garnering $75 million in state and federal money for the waterfront project. Mr. Sertovo said, I was best at is selling the concept. In the rehabilitation of his own image, he is selling a concept too, that he was somehow the victim of a wild teenager. Blamed the teenager. Just like they're doing in the C.J. Hackett case. Why are the police detectives going around asking if he was drunk? As if it was his fault that a city employee driving drunk, who was a part of the nepotism system, hit him while he was on his scooter in front of his friend. They're basically trying to say, hey, they both were drunk. It happens. A 16-year-old kid. They're trying to make him look bad while protecting another 16-year-old who killed a police officer on Tuckahoe Road. Because that kid and his family is a part of the nepotism system. This is why it's a problem. It's not just about hooking up your friend or family with a job. It's about hooking up a lot of friends and family with jobs that are paying well over $120,000, $130,000, $140,000 a year and getting away with crimes, hurting people and getting away with it. Families not able to get justice because the criminal, the suspect, was a part of the nepotism system. So here, Andy Beveridge, James Sertovo, back then, we're trying to victim shame, blame this on a wild, sexually charged teenager. The boy was, this is what Andy said, this boy was pretty aggressive, as I understand it, Mr. Beveridge, who quickly discussed legal strategies, courtroom maneuvers, and the absence of DNA evidence. Another old friend agreed. Have you looked into the number of men that the boy was involved with? Asked J. Edward Meyer, who retired in April after 23 years on the New York State Board of Regents. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So they victim shame, blame the teenager. This guy's been around forever and is still around, along with Mr. Andy Beveridge, part of the nepotism system. The nepotism system that allows Stephen Dolan 3-day grace period after he was initially caught by police, in my opinion, after information I recently heard. Is that the truth, detectives? If you're watching? Because they do watch. Others called it, did I read this part here? So again, Andy Beveridge is a part of the nepotism system. He is a longtime political operative within the Democratic Party. He's very connected to the Democrats. You can't trust what he's doing. So James Sertovo, his good friend that he defended and victim shamed a teenage boy only got probation instead of any jail time after he pled guilty for sodomizing a 14-year-old boy who he met and convinced to meet up in real life or in person on AOL chat rooms. Why did he only get probation? Because the judge, the sentencing judge, was blackmailed, allegedly. Allegedly, Nick Spano, former Senator Nick Spano, Mayor Mike Spano's brother, older brother, threatened to reveal an affair that the judge was having with another judge. So that's why James Sertivo only got probation. And so you see why that a person who has a history like the Yonkers Voice and Ruros would be protected and utilized, even though he has a record of child sex crimes. Can you see why? They don't care. It's part of the nepotism system. See what I'm saying? So I'm connecting the dots here for you. Connecting the dots. So let's go in to see what Mike Breen had to say. Actually, you know what? Let's check out what Tasha Diaz had to say.
We wouldn't understand. I don't know about my colleagues, but I can understand what you're saying. So I'm impressed that
he says he understands what Dr. Andy Beveridge was saying when he was talking in circles and just BSing everyone. Listen.
Professor Beveridge, you have a knack for explaining things that probably some professors we wouldn't understand. I don't know about my colleagues, but I can understand what you're saying. So I'm impressed that you're a good educator. We talked, you mentioned the EDs that you heard from the county. I also had spoken to someone at the county. It has to be.
Oh, sorry.
In town hall meetings, and we had to have kind of a civics lessons. A lot of people thought this council concocted redistricting, like we've been sitting around waiting to concoct redistricting. The fact is the U.S. Constitution, or the calls for the census every 10 years, our founding fathers wanted to count the population every 10 years. And it finally gets down to us. They did the federal legislation, they've done the state legislatures, and it gets down to us. So we didn't create this. We're bound by the federal Constitution to redistrict our city. 10 years ago, when you weren't there, thank you very much, we had a 15% deviance.
So to you folks over there at Gramerton Hills and who were just also recently placed in District 5, that is your new councilman. Aren't you lucky over there, folks? You have Mike Breen as your new councilman. He's going to do a whole lot for you guys. Let me tell you, Mike Breen, again, part of the nepotism system. Not going to do a whole lot for you. I'd be pissed off if I were you guys. I'd make sure I get out, just like you created this flyer, which I still have here, actually. Let's see. Create some flyers and get him voted up out of here. We are working to get individuals from 1 out, from 3 out, 5 out. Mayor, we need your support. We need to unite. I'll be putting out a lot more information real soon. Petition signing starts February. That's the light. February 28th. All right. So make sure you sign that petition, folks. We need you to sign the petition. Come on out. Let me see. I wanted to play. Let's play.
President, I just wanted to thank Dr. Beveridge for his time, commitment, and all of the meetings you took to explain the process, and also Council President, for leading us through the town halls. I think you saw a gap during the town halls and took the initiative to get up and explain things. And as Councilman Breen just mentioned, to lay out the process, why this is required, why this is important, what has changed. And this body has mostly listened to the calls from the community at those town hall meetings. We were able to move Beach Hill back into the 6th district. We were able to move Warburton out of the 6th district. Those two groups of people came out, I think, in force at our town halls, and that was something they communicated. Also, we heard from folks in Ludlow. We were able to move Ludlow back into the 2nd district. I'm saddened to lose Cross County Shopping Center, but I was able to gain some other parts of the southeast section of the city, and every single district lost and gained some population. I think one of the good things we did see out of this exercise is that the city is growing, and so we needed to make some changes. If you take a look at the map from 2010, the 3rd district, for example, runs from the Hastings border down through the city, around the 2nd district, and kind of loops on up. I mean, that looked like it was gerrymandering. And whether it was or not, or that was the intention, those were the maps we were dealt. And we tried to make them more concise. We tried to clean them up as best as possible. And I think we've done that in what appears, in my opinion, to be in a fair way that took into consideration the people that cared. And from the first town hall and the second town hall, where I think we heard from the first town hall, maybe 30 or 40 people, the second town hall, 40 to 60 people. But at our very last public hearing, just the other night, we had 2 people attend. And I think that's a testament to the process. We've laid it out. We've invited people to come in and join us at these meetings. So
there goes his phone.
I'm happy with the lines as drawn, and I want to thank everyone for participation and
John Rubo, listen, you folks did a horrible job of letting people know. When did you guys realize you had to do this? When was the first time you knew? 10 years ago? Because it's every 10 years. Yes, I think most people understand that it has to be done. This is a federally mandated thing that's done every 10 years according to the census. That's not the issue. It's the way it was done, the reasoning behind the way you drew these lines. What was the intentions? Yes, they get it. People get it. There's a 5% deviation, the population. But why did you decide to do it this way as opposed to doing it, this way, right? And moving from here instead of from over here, right? That breakdown. Why did you do it that way? And that's something that's yet to really been fully explained. They just give you the general reasoning why it has to be done. That can be applied to anywhere you go. Why it has to be done? This is why. But why was it specifically done the way it was done here in Yonkers, in which you drew that whole little loop around Crestwood Lake, included Ron Matton? It just so happened to work out where Ron Matton was taken out of District 5, preventing him, well, not technically not, but trying to prevent him from running against Breen. Well, guess what now? Those people are going to come out there in District 5, and they're going to make sure that they vote Breen out, and that Ron Matton is their new representative for District 5. I believe that, and I'm going to support them on that. That's for sure. Where's Tasha? Tasha, you speaking? See if Tasha spoke. Oh, there we go, Tasha. There's Tasha. And someone will be running up against Tasha. Can I say it?
To you
Hector
for
Santiago.
being on the meetings. I also want to thank Dr. Beveridge for taking all of the concerns that I had placed in, which meant to minimize the districts. District 3, as you know, was one of the ones that was gerrymandered the worst, but I made it happen. When I ran in 2019, I worked it, and that's how I became the first woman of color to ever represent that district. So I was able to flip a district that they thought a person of color would never be able to do. And to look at the maps now, to have the 3rd district to actually have a voice and what the maps look like, thank you, because the 3rd district was the district that everything got thrown into. You know, as yourself, you admitted that the 3rd district was basically the district that was always last, the forgotten district. So thank you for taking all of the things that I put into perspective, and to also give everyone a little bit of everything. There was people that had just houses, and my request was to mix that up so everybody could get a little bit of apartment buildings and housing, and you did that. A lot of people are not happy with the map, but looking at the map before and looking at the map now, I think we as a council have come together and made the map the strongest and the best map from what we had
How?
before. I want to also thank my majority whip, Rubo, because he was another one that I'm new as the majority leader. Him and Lakeisha was another one that stood side by side with me as the majority leader to guide me through the process. So thank you to the rest of my colleagues. I will be in support of this map because I think this map is a good map for Yonkers. Thank you.
She thinks the map is a
Thank
good
you.
map for Yonkers. What does that mean? She says some people only had houses. Now, thanks to Andy Beveridge, who listened to her, you know, everyone had a little bit of everything. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm sorry, folks. I apologize. I'm not really unhinged. It's just very frustrating, right? What does that mean, Tarshina Freeman Diaz? What does that mean? Some people had houses, and now they have a little bit of everything. Tasha Diaz had mentioned something to Andy Beveridge that she wanted to see a mix of houses and apartment buildings. That was her biggest concern. Because some districts or a district or two only had houses and no apartment buildings. So want to make sure that we have an equal number of houses and an equal number of apartment buildings in each district. Okay, that was her biggest thing. And so I guess that's been addressed according to Tasha Diaz. Maybe that's why they did those such weird, crazy, little kid-like scribble scrabbles all over the map, because they were trying to, mostly listen to Tasha Diaz. She thanked Lakeisha again. They don't call her Madam President. They call her Lakeisha, homegirl. Lakeisha and John Rubo for being by her side because she's new to, being a majority leader. But Lakeisha is new to being a council president and a council member. How did she help? But that's what she did. She thanked them. I'm not really so sure why. She's approving it. She thinks it's the best map ever. She doesn't really say why. We don't understand it. I don't understand why they think it's the best. I don't know. That's what she says. But again, it's all political. Everyone that is a part of the nepotism system that is on the same team, that would be John Rubo, that'd be Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy, Tasha Diaz, Shanae, Mike Breen, all voted yes. Corazon did too, which is what surprised me, but not really. Not really. It didn't surprise me because this is what I'm thinking all along. I think that Corazon is really just playing a game. I'll just keep it honest. I don't think Corazon really cares to win. She doesn't really want to be mayor. I mean, sure, of course she likes to be mayor. I mean, me, the mayor. Oh my God, imagine the mayor. So él es mayor, right? Of course, she'd want to be the mayor, right? Maybe she get a driver too, you know what I mean? But she's not going to push the issue because at the end of the day, she knows that she has to fall in line. And I'm hearing that she may be appointed deputy mayor along with John Rubo. So, right, because they have about 20. So you'll have Mayor John Rubo, Deputy Mayor Corazon Pineda, because they'll still have the mayor word in their title because the two of them wanted to be mayor. And they were hoping they'd be next in line. Corazon, as the Latina princess, right, was hoping that that would be what would get her there. That's it. Nothing else. And John Rubo was hoping that he would become the next mayor as the all-American boy. But he's not. And he realized that when the mayor had, Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy introduce, the administration had to introduce the term extension legislation, right? Well, now the mayor's going to run, John, so it's over for you. But we got to appease John, just like they did when they named Tasha Diaz the majority leader. They had to do something for John. He wanted that title. So they named him the majority whip. But it's not really about the title. He doesn't want to be the majority. He doesn't want a majority title. Maybe Tasha, but it comes with more money, right? So it's extra money. And if he's not getting majority leader, he's not getting extra money. So what did they do? They created although it's not a new thing, but it was new to the city council. So they named him the majority whip. which comes with more money. Because these people just want to pillage the taxpayers' money. That's what it's all about. And they will do whatever their handlers tell them to do. So Tasha Diaz, she wants to brag about being the first person of color to represent District 3. I mean, it's not like, you did anything. Zahi Jarris did everything for you. The Spano administration did everything for you. I don't know if anyone ran against you. Or maybe. But Zahi Jarris was the political machine along with the administration. I don't know the first time. I think the first time the Spanos wanted Robertson or whatever it is to get voted again, they weren't with Tasha Diaz. But Zahi Jarris got her elected. And people have told me that, people fear Zahi Jarris. They fear Zahi Jarris. I was talking about, and I forgot to call back Red Horse. They called me. And I was supposed to call them before 12 today. Got busy. But I was, speaking to someone, and I said, you have Zahi Jarris and his, Precision Strategies, which is a political, strategy, campaign strategy firm or whatever, right? Consulting firm, campaign consulting firm. And then you have the big boys, the real deal, legitimate guys like Red Horse, like Brown Miller, like North Shore, what's the other one? Berlin, something. Berlin Rosen, right? So I said, how do they feel about Zahi Jarris and his Precision Strategies? They said, they know what he's about. They know that he's a hustler. He's a 3-card, those guys that do all those tricks, on the streets and stuff, hustler, kind of a con man, right? But they respect his capabilities because he is a dirty player. He plays dirty, right? He's the guy that'll have people lined up with fake accounts, ready to go and attack people with all kinds of stuff, sending, phone calls, prank phone calls and everything. A lot of the attacks that happened to me, he was part of. That's what they do. That's what they do to their opponents. They terrorize them, right? And then they put fear into people. So some people just don't even want to go up against Zahi Jarris out of fear, right? Out of fear what he's going to do. And if they have something, maybe they don't want people knowing, they're going to say, I'm not going to mess with Zahi because he's going to put that out there. That's what he's going to do. He's going to just blast it out there. So they'll stay away. And so that's who Zahi Jarris is. And that is how he got Tasha Diaz elected. That is how he got, Dan Romano elected. That's what he does. And that is why the Spanos, in a way, have a little fear of Zahi because they don't know what he can put out there in a way that, they'll know it's him, but it won't look like him, right? And most people who don't know won't know. And this is why I try to tell people about, and show them what's been happening so I can educate them on how they do things, like the Committee for Better Yonkers, right? That committee that was funded largely by developers and real estate attorneys. And all it did was attack Mike Cater. That was the war chest. Fill that up with money, go after Mike Cater, get Lakeisha in there. We need her for the term extension. Mike Cater would never have introduced a term limit extension. They knew that. There's no way they could have afforded to have Mike Cater become or stay in the position as city council president. So that's just the facts. I want people to understand that why Lakeisha Collins Bellamy is in there. They just could not have Mike Cater stay there. They wanted to move forward with the Ludlow project. Mike Cater was giving them a bit of a problem there, right? So, and then they also needed Tasha to kill the housing ordinance. They need Tasha, also John and Breen, to assure that they vote yes for the term extension legislation, for the new district maps. They have to vote yes for these things. All the zoning changes that are going on, they have to vote yes. So they need individuals that will do as they're told. That is who you have in your city council. That's it. Moranti is, I guess, fed up with it. But the problem with Moranti is that he was maybe not all the way a part of it, right? but he wasn't speaking out against it. He kind of was just like, it is what it is. I'm gonna just do my thing, and it is what it is, right? Now he wants to be mayor. He thinks he can do it. He has the money. But I think it takes more than money to win. I think it takes more than money for people to vote for you, right? I think people have to believe that you can not just, I guess raise money, or that you can be a strong individual, a strong person to go head to head with these people, not be scared or intimidated like so many people are, which is why a lot of people have not entered the race. Or maybe they have and have not announced yet, and they're waiting to closer to the 28th, right? But a lot of people are not going to be in it that would like to be in it. But Moranti said, this is my shot. I'm just going to go for it. He sees the writing on the wall. They went after him in 2021. Now they went after his district. So he's got to make a move. He's got no choice. And that's what he's doing. And this will be, the make or break for Moranti. Will he remain in politics? If he doesn't become the next mayor, he's going to probably go in his next election. So that's what they're hoping for. And that's exactly what probably will happen. And, and I like Moranti, not personal, but again, we need to make sure that we, get behind someone who's strong, right? Who's strong, who's capable, fearless, relentless, who is not afraid to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done. Someone who's going to go in there and get rid of some people. Not a lot of people, not everybody who's been hired by the Spanos. No, not looking to do that. But we definitely would have to get rid of the commissioners. They have to go. There's no reason why Sam Baroni should be the commissioner of the building department. Sorry to tell you. You got to go. You're not even qualified for it, right? And we put the qualifications back to where it was before. Tom Meyer, thank you for your service, but you've been there for too long. And just too much conflicts of interest. There's too much, nepotism issues, concerns, allegations, reports, complaints, campaigning for jobs, donating for jobs. And so we want to clear that up. And since you're part of the Democratic Party, you're the chairman of the Democratic Committee, Democratic Party here in the Yonkers, the official party, it just doesn't work for you to be the commissioner of DPW. Okay, so I'll see you. Thank you. See you later. Right. That's just, definitely what needs to be done. Any person that I would want to stand behind and support would be someone that's going to be saying that exact, those exact words, is going to be looking to do those exact things. You want to clean up the swamp, end the nepotism, end the political corruption here in the city of Yonkers. That doesn't mean the city doesn't make progress. That doesn't mean developments just cease and stand still. That means that we get someone in there with a fresh pair of eyes who is genuinely looking to assure that the people of the city of Yonkers are what's in, the most important factor of it all. That the people are going to benefit from this. Why is AMS only putting 45 affordable units there into their Teutonia when it should be 90? Why are they only putting 45? And we need to know this. We need to understand why. Because there's an ordinance there. And if we didn't get the one for 20% passed, then we damn sure better be adhering to the one that's 10%. And if we're not, there's better be a good reason why. Because there are people that need affordable apartments. And so that's what needs to be done. But we can still build, right? But why, Teutonia? Why only 90? Right? And let's look at those pilots. Who's getting a pilot? Who's gotten a pilot? How much? What impact has that had on the city of Yonkers? And if you want to continue to build AMS, Ginsburg, Extel, then we need you to provide jobs to people here in the city of Yonkers. And I don't mean just offer them some OSHA training class. Excuse me. Right, because they announced this OSHA training that they were giving. Get into the construction industry, learn the construction industry, take a 20-hour OSHA class. Yeah, that's how you're gonna learn the construction industry. Really, you're gonna just take a 20-hour OSHA class and you learn the construction industry, right? And what do they do after that? After you sit them there with their certificate that you printed out from Microsoft Word's template, and you have their, neon yellow or green hard hats that you give them, and they sit there in their chairs, what then? Come on. That's not realistic for anyone who doesn't know. So many people are fooled by just the presentation of it. But the reality is nobody's going to learn construction in a 20-hour OSHA class. And OSHA is a safety course. It's not going to get you a job. It's not going to give you an education or knowledge or train you or give you skills and, some kind of trade in the construction industry. That's such a false thing. And I saw the picture one time with the guys sitting there with their little piece of paper and some hard hats. It's a joke. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. And it bothers me because I believe that there are people up there that are saying, oh, this would be cool, and knowing that it's a joke, but hey, it'll look good on Facebook, it'll look good on Instagram, it'll get a lot of likes, and people will say, oh, that's amazing, that's incredible. But that doesn't do anything. So that's what we would need. Someone to come in there and assure that we can get people real jobs, bring in real jobs instead of pushing people out. Because that's all that seems to be happening. Anyway, I wanted one more really quick Corazon. Did I put her? No. I don't know if I have hers. Corazon agreed to it. She voted yes. I don't know about Corazon. I think she's playing the game. I just honestly believe. I think Corazon is playing the game. I think she's playing the game. This is was put up by Anthony Moranti. I just want to post that there. Right, District 1. Total population 34,000. Deviation population 381. Deviation percentage 1.08%. Adjusted deviation 381. What does this mean? What does this mean to people? What does this mean? I don't know what this means. This is what, what does this mean? So how does this benefit us? How does this help us? I just don't know. Central Avenue, folks, before I get up out of here, well, I've been on too long. It's Saturday. I enjoy Saturdays, right? Central Avenue, the Platinum Mile, as they're calling it, becoming the congested mile. That's becoming annoying. It's tough out there. Welcome to Mount Vernon. The Department of Justice is moving into Mount Vernon. The Board of Education is now being locked down. That's right. The DOJ, the feds are in Mount Vernon. Maybe they can make their way over to Yonkers. What do you think, guys? Should we go over there and call them and say, hey, hello? Are you over there in Mount Vernon? It's not too far. You want to come on by? They're going through records for the superintendent's office. They raided the superintendent's office, I should say. I believe the superintendent's brother was arrested. They're funneling money to their charities. They're funneling money to their organizations. Folks, it's happening here in Yonkers, feds. The Inspector General, New York State Inspector General, down here. So you're going to finally make it to Yonkers, Inspector General, or what? And what's going on with the lawsuit, Michael Sussman? You're starting to be suspect. Starting to be sus. As my son says, he's learned his new word, sus. It's like, Dad, yo, that's sus. So what is that? I'm getting old. I'm asking my son, what is that? Right? Sussman is beginning to be sus. What's going on with that lawsuit? No press release, no information. One press release in front of City Hall. That was it. We have not heard anything, like, guys, you can't be quiet. You cannot be quiet. If there's anything you should learn from basement politics, is that being quiet is not the way you go about it. You got to make noise. You can't be quiet, folks. What's going on? I don't know. Nepotism. Really quick before I get up out of here. Nepotism again. Go check this out if you haven't already. I put up, look, bunch of, the span of all this money, 267, 187, 160, 260, 138. That's a lot of money. You got the Nolan family, 158, 123. That's a lot of money. The Gannon, Larkin, total 380,737. Gallego, Christina and Michelle, they're related to Roseanne Gallego. Remember the Committee for a Better Yonkers. Dennis Gallego, the secretary of the now defunct Yonkers Board of Ethics, the same Board of Ethics that allowed John Rubo to sit as the chair of the Real Estate Committee, who has been recently voting on AMS projects. Denise Ezekiako, whatever. Denise, from sources who have been telling me, reliable sources, many sources have told me that this is Denise, is the mistress of the mayor. Yeah, 164,000. The mistress of the mayor, Denise. Folks, can I get the picture to put out there, to put the picture out or what? Let's just do this already, all right? Let's just go all out. Let's go all out. Put the picture out. Let's do this. You ready? Let me know. Yeah, that's right. That is why she's making 164,556. Doing what exactly? Doing what exactly? Two members of this family, $254,000. I thought she was the mayor's aide. She was in Puerto Rico or Florida with the mayor not too long ago. She works in the schools. That's when Mary Calvey both wrote that book, right? It's about, an affair. That's what I'm hearing. Is that true, Denise? We got the picture. Eventually. There goes Steve Squig, 204,000. Last name is not really Squig. This man alone, DPW. What is he doing there? This is money mismanagement. They don't care about our kids because they are willing to be stealing taxpayer money, stealing time from what sources are alleging. And it takes away from our kids in the educational system, but they don't care. They don't care. These are another Spanos, although they don't have the same last name. They are still nepotism, family members. Victoria Carragine, remember the Anthony guy? Right here, became a firefighter. Was trying to get him onto police department. So individuals who are looking up and wanting, because people have asked me, do you know how much? The whole family, well, here are some more names. You can add them up yourself. Go on to the Yonkers employees, salary thing, and you can look this up. This is nepotism. Nepotism is a form of political corruption. By definition, nepotism is a form of political corruption. Jamie McGill's brother is a cop. Jamie McGill, executive director, YIDA. I mean, what are the odds? Yes, you may have a big family, but what are the odds that they all work for the city that you run? Right? I mean, does nobody else want to do anything else? right? I mean, nothing else besides working for the city. Mike Breen, Patrick Breen, $183,000. Let's not mention Patty Breen, who makes millions of dollars with Nick Spano. Corazon, there we go. Corazon Pineda. Sister Linda, que linda. The Rubos, John and Joseph. Joseph Rubo allegedly was given a job with the city specifically for the health insurance because he has a failing heart. His medical exam was falsified in order for him to get the job. This is not the first time that I'm hearing of an individual having his medical records falsified in order to get a city job. In fact, John Rubo's brother had a stroke or a heart attack a few days or a few weeks after getting the job. Taxpayer money. You must care about this when you're driving on the roads and you're busting up your tires because the potholes aren't patched or aren't not patched because that doesn't last. The roads are crap. The schools are crap. Quality of life is going down the drain here in the city of Yonkers while your taxes are increasing. You better hope that they fill up those luxury apartments. I mean, they're building a lot of them. You think they're going to fill them all up? Or are we going to have half-empty apartments that's going to create a complete disaster, complete poverty? It's happened before when they've overbuilt luxury apartments. You never know what could happen next year in the market. 2 years from now in the market could crash. These guys could get stuck where they're at. It happened on Stanley Street. Go check a look. Go check out. I said, go take a look at that development that was left. I don't know. I don't even want to say it's not halfway. It's not even a quarter. They got the skeletal structure of the first 2 floors, but that's it. They stopped, and it's been like that for 7 years, knocking down a school that many in the city residents fought to convert into a community center for kids and affordable housing. But instead, they wanted to make luxury buildings there, and the construction company developer ended up running out of money. And so it sits there 7, 8 years, maybe 9 years later now at this point. So will that happen to some of these developments if there's a downturn in the market? Bugging, I thought I saw something just, I don't know. Did I drop something? I don't know. I just thought I saw something move. I am in a basement, actually, folks. It's actually a fixed basement, though. I'm Freddie Vasquez, folks. Basement politics. I just want you to think about that. Nepotism is political, a form of political corruption. I'm up out of here. Peace out. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. Enjoy your weekend, folks. I'll be out in the community. If you see me, say hello. Shout out to the woman that I saw today by Palisade. She was gonna tell me she sent me some information. I'm glad I'm live. Don't say anything. I'm live. I don't want you to say anything. The roads are so unworthy. My car keeps losing wheel covers. You have wheel covers in your car? You still have hubcaps? Is that what you mean? Your hubcaps? Huh, Z-Man? Z-Man, are you Zehi? That you Zehi? That you Zehi Jerris? Let me see if he responds. Yeah. Z-Man, who are you? Why don't you say your real name? Come on, Sylvia. No, sir. What do you mean by your wheel covers? You have hubcaps? Because most cars don't have hubcaps these days. I'm trying to understand what that means. Oh, is that anytime I hear sir, I always think of the prince. What does that mean? Wheel covers. Your car has hubcaps? Is that what you mean? Who you think's gonna win mayor? Z man. Who's gonna be the next mayor? What's so your car has hubcaps? Okay. All right, cool. What kind of cars that you have? Curious. You? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna be the next mayor? Who do you think is gonna be the next mayor, Z man? That's top secret. Is it? Why is it top secret? Mike Spano? Who do you think? Why is it top secret? Who do you think? You don't know who you are, right? So it doesn't matter if you tell us who you think. Who is it? Who do you think? Mike Spano? You going for Spano? I hope not Spano. What about Nader? Nader Sage? Would you like to see Nader Sage win? Would you like to see Nader? What about him? Hell no. So who would you like to see? Who? Tell me. Who would you want to see as a mayor? Prince? Prince? Corazon? Moranti? Reverend Margaret Coleman? Who would you like to see? Come on, Z-Man. Donna Nolan? Donna Nolan? Yeah, I don't know if she's entering the race, is she? She gonna announce? Donna Nolan for mayor. Is she gonna announce? I didn't hear about that one. Could be. I don't hear everything. Donna Nolan for mayor. What do you guys think? Donna Nolan for mayor, according to Z-Man, she should. Well, you supported her son, right? You helped him for county legislator, so I mean, maybe you should. The more the merrier, right? What do you think? Why Donna Nolan? Why do you think Donna Nolan? Z-Man. Yes, you did. You helped James Nolan for county legislator. Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. You could, you can get it done. Why Donna Nolan? Z-Man. I supported her son. You don't like Ruth? You didn't like Ruth Walters? Not your cup of tea? No Ruth? No Ruth, she's running again, right? Is she running? You're going to help him beat her again? Except for re-election. What do you think about that lawsuit, Z-Man? The term limit with Michael Sussman. What do you think? Going to go anywhere? You left me, Z-Man? You left me, Z-Man? I was having a conversation with Z-Man. He left. Come on, Z. Come on, Z. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This Basement Politics. I guess Z-Man left me. Z-Man. Z, what's up, man? Give me a call. You know, reach out to me. I sure hope he wins that for Yonkers. I sure hope he wins that for Yonkers. Who's that? Why you and Decatur's don't get along? Y'all family. What happened there? Nothing? Guess Z don't want to talk no more. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. That's my guy, Z-Man. I believe that you're Zahid. Maybe Zahid's son, one of you guys. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know. Where you guys been at? I haven't seen none of your fake pages or nothing. You guys just gonna strike with something deadly, waiting for it just to drop it on me, ain't you? That what you guys doing? I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm up out of here. That's my guy Zahid Juris, I believe. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think it's him. Time to end nepotism and corruption in the Yonkers. We must come out to vote, folks. It's very important that we come out and vote this coming election. It's very important. Make sure you're registered. If you're not, come out and vote. Call me. Call me now. Call me now. Just call me now. Well, if you're not Zahid, call me. You have my number right there. 914-228-2894. Give me a call, man. Let's talk. And anybody else that want to talk, 914-228-2894. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Give me the information. What do you need to get done? What is not being addressed by your representatives? I will come out there. I will address it. We'll get it done together like we have been. Thank you, Tommy T. Jr., for moving your car. If you need somewhere to park it, let me know. No place. They'll charge you about $150 a month. Thank you to the people who gave me the information. I appreciate it. It was bothering a lot of people. It was just me. So, right? We got it done. Peace out. Tommy T. And Z-Man, give me a call. 228-2894. I'm up out here. It's Basement Politics. I did almost 2 hours because I won't be on tomorrow. I'm going to be out there. Again, email me, politicwithfred@gmail.com, or give me a call, 914-228-2894. Leave a message or text me the information or whatever it is that you want to tell me. And to the immature, childish people, stop with I got like 1 or 2 of those pranks. Stop that. Don't even bother. Please, grow up, guys. Time to grow up. Gotta grow up. Gotta grow up. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you, folks. I'll see you mañana. Well, not online, but I'll see you in the streets. Be out there.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
I was raised in housing.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
So you started this, Z-Man, if this is you, Zahid. Zahid Juris, you started this. Vinny Spano, you know, I never had intentions of putting your text messages out until you did what you guys did. Just want you to know that. And I've seen you, a couple times since then. You ain't want to look my way. I was hoping you looked my way so I could say to you, why would you do that, Vinny? Why would you do that to my family? You have a family. Why would you allow Ruvros to do that? And so now here we are.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
No! Knockout king or queen, Jamie Gill. Bam! How many teeth now? If I were that woman, I'd be getting my revenge by reaching out to Freddie Vasquez on politicwithfred@gmail.com, giving me all the information. That's how you get the payback.
Freddie wins.
And anyone else that wants to pay back from being harassed at work, talked down to at work, fired for no reason, retaliated. Reach out to me, politicwithfred@gmail.com, 914-228-2894. It's time to get your justice.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Equal justice for all.
No!